A climate crisis, climate emergency, climate apocalypse, just some of the doom and gloom terms that come up when the state of our planet is discussed. Now, most scientists agree the Earth is at a tipping point, or several tipping points, in fact. The polar ice melting in both Antarctica and the Arctic at a rapid rate, land and sea temperatures breaking records, and weather events becoming more extreme, more erratic, and more frequent. It's nothing new for a planet that has seen it all in its more than 4.5 billion year history, from hothouse periods and ice ages to biodiversity booms and mass extinctions. But in the 200,000 year timeline of human existence, we are in unprecedented territory. We really only need to look at the last couple of centuries to track down the source of our current conundrum: the relentless use of fossil fuels from the Industrial Revolution until now. Fossil fuels are by far the largest contributor to climate change. Now remember, burning fossil fuels releases invisible gases that get trapped in the atmosphere, and those gases then absorb the sun's heat, which in turn warms the planet. The scientists say this year is virtually certain to be the warmest since before the last ice age, about 125,000 years ago. Ice melts, sea levels rise. Warm sea and land surface temperatures provide the moisture and energy needed to make storms and flooding more dangerous and devastating. The higher temperatures and drier conditions can help wildfires to scorch millions of hectares of forests. And on top of that, extreme heat can worsen air pollution and even change the way winds flow. Plus, the return of the natural weather event known as El Niño will add a further dose of warmth to an already overheating planet. Now, the World Meteorological Organization says we are likely to break the key climate threshold of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels at least once by end of the decade. The 2015 Paris Agreement said that global emissions need to be halved by 2030 to limit warming to 1.5 degrees, and then get to net zero emissions around mid-century. 2023 marks a key halfway point for that accord. Stopping the fallout from global warming isn't like pressing a button. Now, the idea is to turn things around. So not just cutting emissions, but pulling carbon out of the atmosphere by restoring nature or rewilding, along with using nascent technology to capture and store CO2. In addition, ramping up renewable energy, something that is underway, with renewables set to account for almost 95% of the increase in global power capacity through 2026. So fast-tracking a just, orderly, and equitable energy transition is one of 4 pillars for COP28 in Dubai. Now, another is fixing climate finance, turning billions of dollars in commitments into trillions, and actually getting real money channeled to the right projects. A third pillar is focusing on people, lives, and livelihoods, helping citizens understand the climate crisis, protect food systems, make hotter cities livable, and flood-proof low-lying areas. Also at COP28, governments will, for the first time, carry out a global stocktake, with many of them far behind under nationally determined contributions, or NDCs. And add to that pressure to set up a practical mechanism for the Loss and Damage Fund agreed last year at COP27 in Egypt. Money the climate vulnerable nations could get from wealthier nations, the biggest sources of greenhouse gas emissions. And COP28 officials say the world can't achieve goals and challenges without all voices being heard, from indigenous groups to major oil and gas companies. Can they deliver results? We'll see as the UN Climate Summit gets underway on November 30th and runs to mid-December.